Supposedly we're live again.
Short videos to help you learn how to do everything in Google Classroom. There's also these topics one by one. And there's additional resources if you scroll down, such as helpful tips. There'll be video series, there'll be PDF guides, you name it. Tons of different resources in here I highly recommend checking out. The other tab I wanted to show you is training courses.
Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know what happened there. I am trying to get us back on, but I'm having trouble finding the video. Aha, here we are. Let's try this a different way and hope this works better. Add scene, not add scene. Cancel. Add layer. Screen share add. So I'm not sure how much you guys heard. But part of what happened is I ended up in a ditch. And so I've been trying to get that sorted out which was part of what was taking so long. Okay, wrong one. There. Now let's go to Stream Raiders. Since we're here, start the battle. Well, I'm getting changed. We will put that down and hope. There's that. Maybe it's a good thing I had to come home. I forgot something at home Mindy's gonna need. Okay, socks. Now where's my spare pair of shoes? Not there. That'll work better than nothing. I'll definitely have to take them off for PT, but they will work way better than nothing. It might even be a good thing for today just because I already got wet, and getting wet with me is never a good idea. So for people who don't know, I get hypothermia, you see? I need to go back out and go get Mindy and take her to her appointment at the driver's license division and pick her up from her one appointment, hopefully she went, not just called and said she'll be there when she can. I told her to call and get a ride. I am going to do one thing. I'm going to say, now that I think about it, because of what happened last time, okay, there's that. Got my cloak so I can stay warm. What? How come we're on that page? There. Now, settings, playback, quality. We're fine with that. Autoplay off. There. Okay. We are gonna go now try to get Mindy. Take care of her. I am gonna stop and ask Lexi to do something. Lexi and Granny. Grab my cloak. This cloak, I've got two cloaks actually. Could you every so often go in my room, and if the video stopped, go to that channel, find the live video and start it, or just hit, play it on the, it should change it on the stream. Yeah. Danny, is he taking the bus, or?
I have no idea what's going on. Cat, you're not supposed to be in here.
He downstairs or where?
Last I knew, he was outside calling the guy because he didn't get a text like he was supposed to, so he's just getting some information.
Okay.
Other than that, I have no idea what's going on.
Then I'll wait just a minute. Send Mindy a text.
Mm-hmm.
Have Danny let me know what he wants to have happen. Because, yeah. If he wants me to come back and get him, I'm totally fine with that. I can't find my other pair of tennis shoes. And those are soaked. In fact, we may want to put everything that's right at the edge of the hall, my pants. Yeah, we may need to figure out what we're going to do. They have some mud on them. A few things like that. There's Danny. Yeah. So I'll ask him. They have some mud on them and they're soaked. And so we're going to need to get them washed, but yeah. I will, what's the plan?
I actually need to be at 10.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, because I called him like 5 minutes ago because I still hadn't received a text.
And he's like, oh, I want you here at 10, not 11.
He said, do you live here in Logan? I said, yeah.
Close enough.
Oh, you're not letting him take me hug.
Can't leave without giving your wife a hug.
But yeah. And then he was like, okay, can you get here by 10?
And you're like,
that'll
yeah.
work.
Okay, there's that. But maybe this happened for that reason. Because you knew I was home and could say yeah. So, not that it's not frustrating, but we have towing insurance, so I called up Tom's. I'm going this way this time. No, usually you can slip the car on the side. The ground.
And the speed limit was 30 there.
Yeah.
Heading to 10.
Yeah.
So it's 30 both ways. However, they don't have a speed limit sign saying it's 30 heading to 10th anymore. The last speed limit sign you see heading
35.
to 10th is 35.
Okay, so that one needs
1800.
recorded. They used to have a sign right by
next to Rose Hill. Yeah, they used to have a sign there.
And they probably forgot to put it back. And don't realize that Cache County's speed limit is 35.
I don't know, because that speed limit sign has not been up since soon after I got back from my mission.
Yeah, but
there.
I'm just saying the difference is Cache County is 35, Logan is 30.
But yeah, like, really, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns down to 25 here soon, really, in general, through there, just because of all of the new.
And if it does, it's going to be better to go this way anyway, the way I just went.
Really, with all of the new houses going in across the street, they're like for the Spring Creek subdivision.
To go this way.
Yeah, with all the new houses going in there, they're gonna need to put a light either on 10th and 1800, or a light down like on 2200. I don't think they could do that one. I don't think that would be legal because of how close it is to it would be to the other light. So the only other possibility would be pave the actual dirt road right now, pave that road and put a light down there. Because as it is right now, they still have.
But it takes years to get a light. Think of how long it took to get that on the corner that it is now.
It can take years, or it can take a month, theoretically. Because really, a few different ways for a light to be able to be put somewhere. Logan couldn't put a light down at the end of the dirt road, I don't think.
And they can't put one at the end of our road either because it's county road.
Like, they'd have... The only place where Logan could put one would be 1800.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But, yeah. But either way, a light can be placed... That, like, if you... I'm fairly sure it's something like if you have 4 deaths at an intersection, right there, that requires a light.
Now,
If
my
it's a major road.
understanding, it goes on a list, and that's what got that light at the light on tent.
I know there's a... Like, if they have a certain amount of deaths, it either...
I needed to go that way.
It's either...
Look, no one's behind us.
Yeah, if there's a certain amount of deaths at an intersection, it either requires them to put a 4-way stop or a light.
My understanding is it goes on a list, not
Don't know. It's if they have a certain amount it's required by the federal government.
Because my understanding, that's why the one,
If it's-
like the Willsville one, they were And
it's in a certain, like, if it's a certain amount of deaths in a certain amount of time. I think it's...
But I'm saying Willsville had that many deaths, and it took 3 years to get the light in more. Because it was put...
I think it's more
list,
recently since they started doing... Since the federal government started really... Like, I think it was, like, 2016.
Okay,
Is
that
it
could
when they
be.
went and... Because, of just how many deaths were being
And that
caused
would
for lights
explain
and
why
stuff.
this light was on the list, because this light was already on the list for that many deaths. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew we were getting a light there, but then maybe the place that Gosford line place that kind of pushed it over the edge, but we were on the list. That light went in right about when it was supposed to on the list. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The light on this road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was 2016 is when the federal government started requiring it.
And
Before that, they didn't
1800,
really require it. They left it up to the
1800 has had a
states.
few deaths there too. Maybe not in the right amount of time.
Yeah, I think it's... If you have, like, 4 deaths within 6 months... Like, in a 6-month period, not within 6 months either.
Probably
In
4
a
fatal
6-month
accidents, not 4 deaths.
Okay, yeah. Fatal accidents, I think, is maybe the wording that it is. But,
we don't usually get that many fatal accidents.
No. But, as it is, they're adding another probably 100 vehicles at least going to be added in to driving and having to try and hop on 10th or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And statistically, if you have...
The more people you have going over track,
the likelier there's going to be a fatal accident.
Of course, one thing that's happened that slowed down the accidents on 1800. I mean, think of the last accident you saw on 1800. I think it's been 1 or 2 since the light went in. So, just accidents even.
There's been a few there. The real thing about that is because of the lights, they have it horribly. You can't ever get out pretty much unless... If it's during rush traffic...
Yeah, you have
or
to
pretty much between... I would say 3 to 3:30 and like 7:30. You can't get onto... You can't turn left onto 10th. Mm-hmm. And left is always the riskiest and the one that you're likeliest to get hit.
But a lot of people, because of the light, are now going up and either going...
They're turning right there.
Yeah, they're turning right and then either turning around in the gas station or using the light to go into Logan.
Mm-hmm. Which, that kind of helps, but it also, if there's no break ever for people to be able to actually even have a chance to turn left, then that may, there's going to be less people actually trying to turn left.
And so then it reduces their the demand for a light there because, well, there aren't the accidents happening, so.
Yeah, no matter what, there's just a few things for it that but they're gonna need to do something for all of the extra traffic they're adding in there. Because most of the people there probably don't know about being able to go down to past Paul's.
But I still say, especially if it starts getting extremely bad, I'm gonna just go Paul's way anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna need to go back there. Looks like that's, let's see,
Receiving, shipping.
now hiring, their HR office is right around here.
Probably right in that door.
Let's see, I will get out of it.
Do I need to stay here or to drive you down further, or just let you?
Yeah, I can walk around if I need to. Let's see, go to the HR, take the second loop staircase to the second. I'm guessing
Second?
that's the first, so that's the second.
To the second floor. Okay. I can see that. Okay. Let me know.
Yep.
So what it is he got told to come. They would give him a job. From the sounds of it, he applied, or they were going to walk him around and let him see the different jobs, and he'll have a job. He is going after a forklift operator, but my guess is they want him to walk around and experience the different, or see the different jobs to see if they can convince him into a different one. But no, he also knows his own restrictions. So, and for once, his being skinny but strong will work in his favor, because he is skinny enough that I don't think they'll think he can lift heavy things, not realizing he could, but that over time it kills his body. Say, I'm so glad I have PT today. Gotta turn down the heat because it is getting quite warm. What time is it? Oh, that's not right. So I had to ask which one, because I remembered it was one of the cheese places. And both from what I understand, he applied at both Gosner's and Schreiber's, which are both cheese places here in the valley. And so I had to make sure which one I was headed to. just off center, but or slightly, like very, 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 very slightly out of alignment. But I started to realize that half the road I was going having to turn the wheel one way, just a slight correction, and the other half the other way, which tells me it's more likely the road. But I was just trying to see if we had accidentally knocked it out when I went down in. But, or when they pulled it out. But it doesn't feel like it. No, I'm going straight. Okay. Found a straight place and it was going straight for quite a ways. So, we're still in. That's good. We are a couple blocks from where we need to be. She may be out, but unless she calls, I'm not gonna worry until I can park. Exactly why I always recommend towing insurance. Towing insurance is generally like $2 a month. So you're talking like $24 a year. And a tow is usually around $200. So if you get a tow once in 8 years, you've made up your money. Our experience is generally people need a tow more often than once every 8 years. Now, honestly, it saves insurance, I believe, the money to have it that low because of one thing. People are less likely to tow their vehicles themselves if they're having car troubles and accidentally have problems that damages the vehicle, and then they have to call in a repair. Well, so you're actually saving significant money as a insurance company offering tows so they don't do private towing and damage their vehicle and then cost the company thousands. You cost a couple hundred, and yet they pay every month for it. and find out if she's here or where she is. Just missed her. Her wonderful brother picked her up for me. And probably brought her here in the first place. Probably what happened is he went down first and I came up center. So that was a fun experience. I will say one cool thing that's been happening to me recently I've noticed is I am losing weight. I'm eating more often, so I'm losing weight. Which is a cool thing. Or I shouldn't say I'm losing weight. I'm losing inches. I don't know for sure weight because I haven't got on a scale. But basically my clothes that are fitting looser than they were. Which is never a bad thing. We're done with this. Oh, shoot. Yep, they went up first. Because that's the road they would have had to cross. They would have had to come to go to center. So, and the reason I didn't realize is I went up 6th to center and then up rather than 5th to center. My guess, I shouldn't be too upset. I would not doubt if what they're doing is working on trees around there after our storm the other week. Didn't go up first either. They must have went up second. Because first is also... they're working on some pipes. They've closed a lot of the roads. sorry about that.
It's
I'll
fine.
tell you. Okay.
Oh, whoops.
And finite spells. I can't remember which ones those are.
What is this?
That's my wedding certificate.
That one's mine. David's. Chrissy. Wayne. Danny. Brett. Love of yours. Probably gonna say that.
I figured. I thought I knew exactly where that was, or that it was in there, but I didn't want to say 100% until we do need to let David know that I leave to come get you and it's foggy, first of all. And you know, I always go down the dirt road, right? And as I pulled out, I went, it's way foggy. I probably should go down by Paul's. Well, I'm already headed to the dirt road. I'll go down and just go around the block, right? Very reasonable, right? Ernie's parked halfway in the middle of the road. I didn't know it was Ernie at the time. I just knew it was someone, and they were just sitting there and not moving. Even as I came up on them, it was obvious, whatever else. Well, you know, my car's small enough. I can usually get off to that side, just hugging a little bit off the edge, but still that dirt area off the side, right? That dirt area is soaked.
Yep.
Guess what happened? And then I hit one area. My tire hit a rock that flipped obviously into the ditch, which did what to the car? Pulled the whole car. You know, that was the last push over the edge it needed to dump the whole car in the ditch. Ed came, looked at it, and went, I can't figure out where to connect.
Yep.
Since we have towing insurance, which I'm going to tell you the same thing I said a little bit ago to them, towing insurance is usually about $2 a month. Which is like $25, less than $25 a year, you know. A tow is usually around $200. So, if you get towing insurance and you get a tow more than once every 8 years, you're saving money. And I'm sure the reason insurance companies do it is then you don't damage your vehicle trying to tow it on your own and then take it in for repairs. But then they have to call that you only have to cover like $500 or $1,000 on, and they have to cover thousands of dollars. A couple hundred is a lot cheaper than that.
Yes. Much cheaper.
So it works out for the insurance company, but it works out for you too. To pay the $2 a month is all, you know. So anyway, because I'm like, you know what, we have towing insurance. I'll just call. And I saw Tom's, and I got Tom's and Ted's mixed up because I was thinking Ted knows exactly where it is, you know. But, which is okay, because I don't remember if Ted still has towing or not. And I was clear down in the list. So I called Tom's, and he gets there, drunk driving. Because it was actually Tom who knows Dad. And knows me. And he also obviously knows Ed. So it was a group of, I totally know this person, so I could joke with them about it. Anyway, so he pulled me out. I went home, got changed, and checked with Danny because he was supposed to meet with the guy at 11 from what he knew. The guy was going to text him. He hadn't heard from him. So Danny called, obviously while I was home because he saw the car or something, and the guy asked, "Can you come in right now?" Well, I was home, so he could. He's like, "Do you live in Logan? Could you come right now?" So he wanted him there at 10. So I dropped him off and came straight for you, but by then I'd missed you guys because 5th is closed to Center.
Yeah.
I went up Center, but both 5th and 1st is closed, so Stephen obviously took 2nd. And I didn't see you guys because as I was driving because I was going up Center.
Thank you for choosing Wendy's. Go ahead and order whenever you're ready.
What do you want?
Bacon burger.
A number 7 and a number 1 combos.
Small, medium, or large?
Large.
And what to drink on those? Berry.
A pineapple mango and a tropical berry.
Alright, anything else?
Let's get an oatmeal bar too.
An oatmeal bar?
Yeah,
Anything else?
that should be it.
16.82 at the window, thank you.
Actually, remind me, I want to see if I can add a honey butter biscuit. But I asked late, or I realized it late. It's $1 for a honey butter biscuit, and it sounds good. But remember how much little room I used to have? I think I've been losing weight recently, or losing inches recently. Anyway, so I think it was Heavenly Father dumped the car into the ditch on a place that I've made that pass by him before. That's what was so frustrating to me. I've made that pass before with no issues. But now I kind of think Heavenly Father dumped it in so that I would be home when Danny called so he could say yes. You had to yawn. I think that's the first time I've yawned on this whole stream. Actually, I think it's the first time I've yawned in 3 days on stream. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not going live at my normal times anymore.
No.
Okay. I kind of adjusted my live times. I go live at sometime one day at 9, one at 10, one at 11, one at 12, one at 1, and one at 2 during the week. So Mondays I go live at 12, Tuesdays at 2, Wednesdays at 9. I believe tomorrow's 11, so Thursday's at 11.
It's already Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
How? It still feels like Sunday.
Friday is at 1, I believe at 1.
Right.
Friday's at 1 and Saturday's at 10.
Nice.
I'm I was getting burned out, if that makes sense. And I was even at the point, do I quit streaming as many days? Do I quit streaming totally? What do I do? And then I had this idea, well, because part of it, I wasn't getting things done. I'd had things on my list to do for weeks to months that weren't getting done. Because I'm streaming from 9 to like 12, 1, 2, and then I'm exhausted. And so then I lay down for a couple hours, and by the time I get up, everything's closed. So this way, Monday, I went out and did some stuff and then went home and streamed. Tuesday, I was on the phone for like an hour and a half, 2 hours with insurance.
Clips.
Huh?
Clips.
What?
Clips.
Oh, gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
It.
Well, between insurance and the hospital, they wanted to charge me $400 for a well child blood draw, or wellness check blood draw.
$17.90.
Oh, can we actually add a honey butter biscuit too?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Oh, this one was $18.96.
Sounds good. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's a good thing you told me before it actually went through. There's that one.
That one's yours.
There's that one. We'll get that right out. There's that one.
The nice thing about the ones we chose is they're different colors. So we don't have to taste them to... Like the shoes I had to choose. They were the only ones I could find. And then I went, well, actually, maybe that's meant to be two. Because you know, I should have another pair. I just recently saw another pair of my tennis shoes. And now I can't find them. But then you also know that if I had to change my tennis shoes, what were they? Soaked wet, right?
Yep.
What happens with my body when I get soaked? I get hypothermia really easy, right? And so the fact that I was out walking around for a little while in wet tennis, both shoes were soaked. Thank you. Is that it? So the chances I was actually on the edge of going into hypothermia were actually decently high. And my boots show up out of all places. I haven't worn my boots for months, and they became the easiest thing to find. Actually, I don't think I wore them at all last year even. So I think it's been like a year and a half since I wore my boots. And they're the easiest thing to find all the time. I'm pretty sure that was so that I did not have problems with hypothermia. Despite the fact my knee's out. And, of all days, this happens on what day?
Your therapy day.
Yeah, PT day. So when I put my knee out, even worse than it already was, because I slipped on the ditch in the mud, it's okay. Things will get back in place later today. Which I'm sure is also part of the feeling I'm feeling right now is still, I'm running on slight adrenaline further pushed on by the fact that I'm in slight pain, which means the adrenaline's gonna keep running. Right? I of us had bacon on it. Yeah, that's honey butter.
That one's mine.
I have bacon chicken and you have a baconator.
Yeah, mine's over there.
A bacon breakfast. Yours has sausage. Mine has chicken.
Yeah, that's my stuff for mine.
I don't know if mine had egg or not, but the maple some didn't.
Yeah. No, it was supposed to have bacon. No.
Oh, you're like, that one, that whole bag is sticky. That bag has maple in it and honey butter in it. So are you getting a learner's permit or just a ID card?
I do.
I know David's going after his learners. That's why I was asking.
He's going after his ID.
He told me he's going after his learners.
I think he said Monday he's going after his learners. I'm pretty sure that I still have the thing where I can just show it to them and be like, hey, this has not been expired for a year. Can I just get you to print it off for me? I'm pretty sure that's where my learner's at.
But you will need a new one before next summer because
That's fine. You can ask him to do it.
and you could come in and just take the test. You've had your learners for long enough.
You have to make an appointment.
Okay, but I mean, you can take. You don't have to pass driver's ed. Sorry guys, I am going to eat a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was getting at, is then you'd at least have your driver's license and you don't need to have insurance unless you're driving more than once a month, so. That might increase the cost of insurance if you don't have insurance for a while. That's right, it's not maple, it's honey butter chicken. Or both. At Wendy's, upgrading to large is definitely worth it. Because their small and medium cups are different sizes than their drink cups. They're normal drink cups, but when you go to large, it's the same size as their large drink cups.
So this email that they sent to remind me that I have my thing today was time 10:20:21. But all I saw was the 10:20, and I'm like, but I scheduled it for 10:40. Why are you doing this to me? And I realized they meant date, and I'm like, why would you put time and then put the date and then put the time after that? Like, seriously?
I can see that in some ways. So that people have the exact date.
Yeah,
but probably saying date and time would be better.
Yeah, but you could even put time and then 10:40 a.m. on 10:20:21.
Mm-hmm. Did you want one of these?
Sure.
What?
I just got hit with a wave of nostalgia for something Oma used to make, but I don't know what it was. Like the taste.
Totally can't help that.
The taste was something Oma used to make of the bite of the fry I had, but I don't know what it is that she made.
Only thing I can think of is mustard eggs. If you hold it right, you can eat it off so that you don't get as sticky.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that don't know, Oma is her father's parent mother.
Yeah, she's my grandma, but I don't call her grandma. Except not in English. Well, I do, just not in English.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds weird. No. She is Oma, not grandma. That's Oma.
So we've always used that because it was so much easier to keep track of which grandparent which we meant.
Mm-hmm. One is Oma and the other one is grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Stop falling.
walking out, standing in the boat.
Standing and holding my phone. Because this hand's just fine. This hand that was holding my phone is cold.
I couldn't, you know how I usually can easily find 2 pairs of tennis shoes? I couldn't this time. But look at what I found. I don't think I've worn them for like a year and a half. And I'm like,
Yeah. And it's not the second blue staircase there. Unless you're going that way.
So it's the first one.
Yeah, I walked up the second one, tried the door. It's locked. Okay. Went to the other one. Door opened up. And then there's bathroom and a sign there that says
HR.
that looked like that said the guy's name that I was supposed to be meeting with. I was like, oh, for indicating his office this way. I was like, okay, it's definitely here. Now, it took 15 minutes before he even, they have like a conference room at the end of there, and he had me sit in there for pretty much 15 minutes, saying he had to print some paper out. The interesting thing to me about it is, though, he said he had to print something out. And then, I got in there, he had me come in, and everything was electronic for the stuff. He came after 15 minutes of me sitting in there, and all the questions and stuff that he's supposed to ask, whatever, is on an electronic computer.
It may have been
Now,
he had something later on that he would have given to you.
Now, interesting thing though to me too.
Or he may have been seeing how you behave.
But interesting thing to me though about it too. Oh, hey, they're drilling a well or something there. But to me about it too is it, like, when I applied on Indeed, it asked questions and stuff that, like, one of the questions was, do you have a disability that would make it so we would maybe, like, that would maybe need an accommodation? I said yes. And automated reply was, like I said, that they would contact if they wanted any information from the questionnaire. They definitely didn't contact about wanting any questions about that. Which means that it didn't put it in the system.
What did he say when you told him that? Or did you?
I didn't tell him that. I just, like, I was like, really? Whatever, but I don't... Winco was way worse for it, really. They had the questionnaire thing, whatever. And then they had they asked some of them were the exact same questions on paper form when you got there. And then the interviewer would go and ask you the same questions, because that's what they had on their paper, was to ask these exact same questions, even though you already answered them on 2 other things.
Well, I will say part of that is, I hate to say this, but that's part of it. Sometimes is a stress. They're trying to put you into a stress response to see how you deal with stress.
Because Winco, like, some of it also is Winco. You could schedule an appointment, whatever, or you could just walk in. Is how they had it. They had walk-in access where you could just walk in and say, I want to apply for this job. Okay. They'd give you the paperwork, and then when they had the chance that they didn't have an actual scheduled person go back, they'd take you back and Now, I also hate their employment system too, because if you apply for one job, or you can apply for all of the openings that they have,
but you can only be.
But then as soon as one person gets you scheduled for an interview, you're canceled out all of the others. And
Can you reapply or not?
You probably can, yeah. I'm fairly sure you can reapply after you go for the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, for the interview, you can talk and they can see about getting, like, they have a question, they can see about getting the questionnaire form for each of them.
Okay.
But one of the real things for me was there was one position for Winco that, to me, I would have loved probably to have.
But it had already
And then
been filled.
the position that I wanted for other positions. But because I had to wait until, or because obviously they had that position's interview that I wanted, interviews before the ones I was going for, they filled them before I even had a chance to even apply for it. Or, yeah, before I had a chance to even get interviewed for it.
Anyway.
And that was annoying to me. That's also why I didn't care to even see about applying for any other positions at Winco. Just, yeah. And then if you don't get the Winco building and do an interview there, no, it would, like, which kind of makes sense why they didn't do it there, but because they're still working, but they had it at the Workforce Services building, like attached to the.
I can see that, but
Yeah.
you'd think then that they'd just have them all there at the same time and do the interviews for every
Yeah.
position.
Especially, like, do the interviews for every position and everything, especially when they had walk-in interviews. You could just walk in and get an interview. Like, if you're gonna do that, either, you need to really have everyone there to be able to be able to apply for any position that they want. But, yeah. Now, I also don't know why you'd have walk-in interviews at the same time you're really doing scheduled interviews.
I can see the walk-in because
I can see having a walk-in if it's different people that do it than the scheduled interviews.
Well, I could see both. I could see having both at the same time. Have someone that can do the walk-in, but also the thing is interviews can sometimes take less or more time.
Yeah.
So oftentimes it's hard to fill every single interview slot. So if you allow walk-ins, they can wait and then fill those.
Yeah, no, they didn't, have anyone else to do walk-ins. They had the people that had scheduled interviews that were also supposed to do the walk-in interviews.
And I could see doing that for some of the time, but then you also need to take into account you're going to get a lot of walk-ins.
You can, yeah. Yeah, I just don't understand Winco's system.
I don't think Winco opens that many new stores either, so that could be part of it.
I guess that
too.
could be close, huh? Whatever. I guess that could be something, is they don't open that many new stores. The real thing though is, yeah. Yeah, as pretty much they're an employee-owned business,
but they don't treat the people applying very well.
Yeah. They don't do that well for the application. But then, something that's way weird to me is if you become an employee and you work for, I think it's 90 days, they give you stock in the company.
There's a lot of companies that do that. The reason why is then if the company does better,
yeah,
you're
likelier to try and make the company do better, yeah. But the real thing I just don't understand is why the freak is there like, yeah, is their system crap? Their system crap, but yet they're willing to do something like that.
And I get what you're saying. I'm just...
Because I would think there would be someone that's more technologically savvy that would apply.
Unless that's just it. They haven't hired anyone that's,
Like, that would apply for a job. And then they would see the stuff and would be starting to work and try and make it so they have a good system. But no, they have a crap system.
Well, it's also, I hate to say it, but even with companies like that, you still have to work your way up.
Yeah. Like, you do.
And I hate to say it, but
yeah, the real thing, like, they have, if I remember right, something like 580 stores. And I would think that out of all of the managers throughout all of the stores, they would have one person at least that would be, yeah.
You wanna, what was that?
Grandma texting saying, do you want some work? I want work. Not at the shop, though. And it's really just because of Grandpa.
You might tell, I hate to say this, but you might tell her that. And you might even say, I'm willing to come in and work as long as I'm completely kept away from Grandpa. As long as I'm working for you and not Grandpa come in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So what is it that Mindy's doing here? Is she getting her learner's permit?
No, she's getting her ID card. Is what either that or getting a renewal of her, either a renewal of her learners or just a reprint. I didn't fully understand.
Like, a learner's permit does not work for, or at least I'm fairly sure it does not work to get a passport. So
so she may be getting her ID.
She'd be trying to get her driver's license.
You get your state IDs here too.
You have to do a ton to get a state ID. And for, at least from what I was seeing, if you do a state ID, it takes a ton more it takes an additional month or two in order for you to get your passport.
I don't know.
Which I guess Mindy may have decided to do that, but from what my understanding is, all she needs to do is take the driver's test to get her driver's license. So that's that's the real thing that to me would make most sense for her, is for her to have scheduled a time to come in and take her driver's test to be able to get her driver's license. But I don't think she... Probably the officer.
The tester. That was a tester.
Okay, they're still kind of an officer person.
Yeah.
They probably saw that it said closed and
opening the window because
But
my
yeah,
phone's getting hot.
I guess depending, Mindy would maybe need to get her learner's permit before she could get her.
So
Driver's
from what she
license
said,
again.
she thinks it's still valid.
From what I heard, her learner's permit expired back in like February,
I'm
Or
just
March.
saying what she told me.
and if
On
her
the way
learner's
here.
permit expired, she'd need to retake the written test.
I'm
Almost
just
guaranteed.
saying from what I heard from her.
Yeah, I don't.
And maybe that's it. Maybe that's why she's not answering, is maybe they suggested she do that.
Because I don't think they provide a vehicle to do the driver's test. In fact, I'm fairly sure they don't.
They don't. You have to take.
I know, like, Mindy, like a month ago, had been talking about trying to get Stella running again to be able
From
to.
my understanding,
drive
David's
Stella.
saying the red vehicle in the garage is his
The red
at our
Geo?
house.
I haven't heard anything about that. If so, he's gonna need to let me know, or I need to figure that out. Because I was actually planning on probably next Earth Day getting rid of it. Because I've already taken out some of the important parts for that vehicle. Right now, it has no distributor and no plug wires. So it will not run.
David?
Yeah, he has not talked to me about
Good
it.
thing I said something.
No matter what, we do need to get the title for it.
Where's the title?
Either Grandpa has it, or I think Grandpa shredded it one time because he didn't think he had the vehicle anymore. He thought he already got rid of the vehicle, I'm fairly sure. And so I'm fairly sure he shredded it, and so which means I think he needs to request a new title.
Well, my understanding
think
would
it's
need to do that
Either that or it's under Dusty's name.
Well, we need to figure that out, even if we're putting it in for Earth Day, because you're supposed to.
Yeah, either way.
So we need to get that title.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's under Dusty's or Grandpa's name. It might be under Dusty's name, actually, because that's the vehicle that Dusty's mother-in-law had been driving for a little bit of time. And so,
Well, we need to do some research on that.
when I talked to Grandma last about it, trying to figure it out, whatever, she said that, like, Grandpa had a stack of titles. I looked through there. It wasn't there, and so she said that she thinks he either shredded it because he didn't have the vehicle anymore, and so he thought he got rid of it, or it's under Dusty's name, and Dusty has the title.
Or both.
But either way, yeah. I wish I had money. Right now, or for the garden, it would be nice for us to have our own rototiller.
How much are rototillers?
Right now, at least last I checked, there's a person selling 2 rototillers. One doesn't have an engine, but 2 rototillers for $50. Not each, $50 together. Over in Brigham City. And that's why I wish I had money, is if I had the $50, I'd definitely be going over and trying to buy those. However, I don't have money.
I'll talk to you about it in a minute. I'm just trying to... Burning day. Where is my burning day runestone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, at least for me talking with Brett yesterday, he kind of agreed that we should see about having, like, see if Glenn Zillis would come over and look at the well and see what he thinks about it.
I'm going to assume that's burning day.
We haven't scheduled anything or talked to Glenn Zillis at all, but yeah. With talking with Brett, he agreed that
He went, what?
we should at least try and figure out and hope that the well's just fine, but that, like, yeah.
What did he say on what you figured out?
Pretty much, at least at first, he still tried to insist that his dad had drilled a well there. And that it was legally, because he couldn't drill down that deep. At first, he literally kept trying to insist that, and then after a bit, it didn't, pretty much I didn't care to try and argue with him. After a bit, I just was like, yeah, okay, yeah. And it's still pretty much bringing up that it's rusting and, like, replacing a filter having to replace the water filter every month because of rust or sediment getting in it. Sediment that is rust, that looks like rust. Just, over time, it ended up becoming more expensive to have to replace that every month than to just drill a new well. And, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Because there's also, I do think, I'm fairly sure it's rust. / maybe even some, like, metal chunks. Some small metal pieces.
And that's even more concerning.
I don't know. I am not seeing any metal pieces. However, the filter that when I pulled it out, it was heavy. Which would not happen for normal sediment. For normal sediment, it would turn orange, whatever, maybe. But the filter would get a little bit heavier than just a normal water-logged filter.
I hate to say it, but I think that filter was 6 months old.
No. The filter that was in there, we replaced when we first, in, like, end of January. Maybe beginning of August. Sometime around there. When we replaced the...
Those are two different things, sweetie.
Not January. July. End of July, beginning of August. Somewhere around there. When we replaced the first water heater with the 40-gallon one from Grandpa, that's when we swapped it out because we had one of the low-end water filters down in the storage room there. So we replaced it with one of the low ends. But that's
like a month or two. It shouldn't have been.
Like, theoretically, it can last 3 months. But it's still, no matter what, that was heavy. Way heavier than it should have been. Because I would say, like, the filter was, like, half a pound before you put it in there. And then the water would make it end up being probably maybe pound and a half. And then, yeah, it's, like, to me, maybe 2.5 pounds is what it would probably end up being with a normal sediment. But I can almost guarantee there's metal in, like a metal, either rust or sediment in there, because that filter was like 7 to 10 pounds when I pulled it out. That's way too heavy for it to have been. But yeah. no matter what, we do need to get a pressure tank for the house. Brett said he remembered that before Ed replaced the water pump with the Grundfos that has a built-in pressure tank, there was a pressure tank in the basement there. But yeah, and then he got rid of it when he replaced it with the Grundfos pressure tank water pump. But from my research, for a house our size, we should have at least a 6-gallon pressure tank, if not probably like a 20-gallon pressure tank.
Yeah, but if you think about it, even a 20-gallon would easily fit in there with a pump on top.
Yeah,
because 20 gallons is just like your barrel.
Like, it fit in there, but not in the pump.
Yeah,
pump
no, I get that. I'm just
like,
saying.
the current, what we have for a pressure tank is maybe a gallon max. I doubt it's even a gallon. I think it's like a liter pressure tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough for that house.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. I just, yeah.
If you don't have a large enough pressure tank, the water pump runs more often, which wears the water pump out way faster.
And I get that. I'm not saying anything about that. Let me make that very clear. I have no issue with that. I just... Did you want to go make sure she's here? Because she's not answering her text. Or anything. And you've got your mask, so... I was going to hand you one, but you've got your mask, so...
One thing I'm kind of surprised they didn't ask is if I'm vaccinated. They didn't, like... The Gosner person did not ask that. At all.
He probably would have as you got further into it.
Yeah, probably. But, to me, that's one thing that you'd kind of probably, in my opinion, try and figure out soon if you require people to be vaccinated.
Or maybe just because they list that they require it,
I don't think they even list that they require vaccinations. But with all this stupid Biden crap saying that companies like Gosner's would be required to have everyone
that's
vaccinated.
true, and you aren't yet.
And I probably won't be until midway through November.
Is that when Ryan said that'd be
That's when I'm going back in to check if my liver is still fatty. Because at the end of September, the blood tests came back that I had a fatty liver. There's Mindy.
Okay.
And so, you're probably going to want to be on this side, Mindy. I don't know. It's up to you, but I can scoot forward some more, and that side's already pretty much clear. David uses this side every time I pick him up. But yeah.
Okay, we need to find out when if David wants us to go get him.
He does. Let me tell you the time since I looked my phone.
It'll be probably about 12:40.
I don't know what time it is right now.
11:20.
Okay. Let's go drop Mindy off.
Pretty
And
much
when
it's
she
been
gets-
about 12:40 the last 2 days that he's called me asking me to pick him up.
And when she gets a chance, she needs
11:50 to 12.
Okay.
Okay.
That's,
Let's drop Mindy off. Get David. And go take
Should
care
I
of
take
her.
piano?
oh yeah, I forgot.
Should what?
Place the image.
No.
Oh. So what were you getting?
ID card and I was taking the test.
A state ID card or what?
Yes.
Okay.
He was saying you're
From-
gonna want your driver's license by the
From
time you go.
my research, from my research, people, if they use a state ID card, generally takes another month or two to get their passport.
Okay, so?
Yeah.
It's like 8 months still, and I'm turning it in as soon as I can.
Still.
And it's not like I can get it super soon.
Yeah. No. But no matter what, I don't understand why you're not trying to get your driver's license. 'Cause
She
from
said,
what I-
and taking a test.
But from what I know, all you need to do is take your driver's.
Because I'm still not ready for the driver's test. I don't have enough driving experience. I don't trust myself behind the wheel.
So we need to come get
So
you
you
more
drive
often.
more often.
Did you pass?
you have
No,
your
because there's so many people in there who was talking all the time, and I couldn't focus. So I need to call them and ask if there's like a time when they know there's going to be less people there, or if I can take it elsewhere. I don't think you can take it elsewhere, but I can ask
No.
what time things are less.
I think you can take, if you check, they may allow you to take headphones
I don't think so.
or earplugs.
Maybe.
Maybe earplugs. But from what I know, something like I don't know what time they opened, but at least last I really knew, some of the better times to get it so there wasn't that many people would be pretty much right before closing,
Which is what I'd done every other time.
which is kind of but then also at something like 9:30 in the morning
Mhm.
is a good time because people are
right
either
when they very first open.
yeah, because people are either or half hour after they open. Pretty much is generally from what I've heard. What I heard before my mission. So it could have changed. But before my mission, from what I heard, it's a lot quieter and there's not that many people. Half hour after they open.
Mondays are my only days that I stream at 9 a.m. So like tomorrow is at 11 that I stream. So we could come and let you take the test and I would make it home in time to stream. Which was also, like I said, that's part of why I'm feeling better about the streaming schedule is because I can get things done.
This one's in a horrible spot. I have to hold my phone down here, otherwise it shines into my eyes.
So I need the Finite one, which is like the triangle shell. I need 20 of those. Actually, I think we're at like 19 now because I got one. But yeah. Anyway. Did you want to talk to Grandma herself or not?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to say if you do, I could run you over to talk to her. Or you could just call. I don't care which. drive around, let me know, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Once you've got your license, because the only way and I understand the stress and whatever, I didn't get my license till after I graduated. And then I got my license in that weekend. I drove from here to Montana overnight by myself. Doesn't that sound about like your mother? I will say that trip totally gave me a lot more confidence in driving. You know, one of these, you don't have a choice, so you're going to do it. And well, now that you've done it, you know you can do it.
Wait, the triangle is in Incendio.
Yes, no.
I wouldn't mind having a shop, really. Like,
And I'm not saying a shop, just where you go work out their houses on their vehicle.
really, I want a shop because I want to be able to do emissions tests. There's a shop.
Except you have to get it approved as a business. And yeah, you do.
Not for registering it as a IM inspection shop.
Okay, but
It doesn't have to be a business. You can register your own garage for a test. You're supposed to run the test even if you know it's going to fail, and let them know what they need to do to fix it. The guy saw the check engine light, was like, and immediately came back in and said, it's going to fail. I don't know why. I'll have to charge you in order to check the check engine light, even. And that's technically not, like, according to the emissions registration, you can't do that.
you can say it's going to fail because there's a check engine light, but you're supposed to run it, is my understanding, to see if anything else will also fail.
Like, yeah, like pretty much. Because, yeah, and they're required to give you at least one, I think it's something like 3 retests. It's at least one, though. Like, one free retest for emissions, where they can let you know what you need to do, and you can either go and spend $200 or more and have that payment, and then be able to go and have it get like a slide for the year, or for the year, that makes it so you don't have to have, like, because if you can prove you have spent more than $200 on trying to get the emissions good, and it still fails, then you can do a slide because you've spent $200. The next time you need an emissions test done, then you have to actually get it done, and you have to spend another $200 at least. Victor can go and write out a slide. Now, I doubt places like Discount or almost any place.
Well, that sounds like even more reason to keep going with Ted's, because Ted would. Just because, I mean, he'd insist on seeing the proof that you spend it, or have you spend it there, but he wouldn't make you spend thousands trying to solve it. Which, yes, there are some places that probably would.
Yeah, almost guaranteed. I'm fairly sure. I'm fairly sure when I went in for an emissions test, I heard someone else have, like, in order for them to pass their emissions, they had to spend $1,000 is what they were quoted.
And then there's my vehicle that you would never be able to get it because if the check engine light decided to turn itself on, because the code won't give you anything. So anyone
stores
that's listening,
nothing for the free
yeah,
service engine or like engine malfunction. An engine malfunction. If you have an engine malfunction, it should set a code. If it's actually the engine. If it's some other thing like the AC or something like that, okay, it doesn't need to set a code. If it just has a malfunction or whatever.
but for the engine, especially when it's got the engine light, the check engine light coming on, you should drop a code.
A code, or at least have freeze frame data.
Something.
Some freaking data that can be picked up without a specialized tool. Yeah.
Well, I can't even think. Yeah, think of what specialized tool you would have that would.
Pretty much there are some.
I did just think of this. I wonder if I get on the Ford app.
I don't know. There are some diagnostic tools that I'm fairly sure you have, like a diagnostic plug-in up in there where you can go and plug in and it'll read the wavelengths and for the wires and stuff, and yeah. Pretty much there's some diagnostic tools that you can use to be able to see the wavelengths that the wires are making, and so you can see if it's the or is not, like it keeps shorting out or stuff like that in there. But that's like $1,000 equipment. That's not that cheap. But it's also, you have to have it also specialized for Ford.
I turned off the. Okay. I was going to say because we're waiting for David, but there's David.
Mom was saying, like, when we were waiting for Mindy, Mom at the DLB and then we drive her. But Mom was saying something like you were mentioning about using the red Geo at the back, in the back of the house.
Yeah, I said I wanted it when we first got them, and you said it was fun.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were still thinking about using it because they're missing some important parts right now. It's like, really, you cannot get it to run because it's missing spark plug wires and a distributor.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to use it right now. I got to fix it up.
Both of those are at Jade's.
Yeah, I got to fix it up.
But,
I know.
Yeah.
He's glad to know because he was about to send it.
Like, pretty much, I didn't think anyone else had wanted it, so I was planning on, or since my mission, I hadn't heard anyone talking about wanting it, so I was planning on going and ending up scrapping it next April.
No, I want her.
So it's good that this came up now.
Yeah, no, I want her. I even named her already.
Okay.
Birth certificate?
Hey, I guess I'll see about helping.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll see about helping you and Mindy.
What are all the other papers? Oh, it's all of ours? I was like, I don't need all of ours, though. I only need mine.
Yeah, but you get why it's all in there.
Yeah, let's keep it together.
It makes it a heck of a lot easier to find it than a birth certificate here and a marriage certificate there and another birth certificate over here. And
We're heading home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what I was thinking.
I was thinking let's head to the gas station first.
Oh.
Well, yeah, we need
gas.
and stuff like that.
For air in the tires, I forgot about it. Just tire pressure lights on. It's been on for a few days, and I keep seeing it and thinking, okay, I probably should try and figure it out, and then I keep forgetting.
Zach and Jared had to buy brand new freaking tires yesterday. Because the tires that they had, the tread was completely gone.
So I had a fun experience today.
But
I went to go get Mindy, and Ernie was parked on half the road.
Ernie or
It was Ernie.
Okay. One of his sons. So you saw Ernie in it?
I saw Ernie.
Okay.
At first I didn't see Ernie, but when I slipped in the ditch, I can't even remember her name, Ernie's wife, came out and got Ernie out of the truck. So it was Ernie. Anyway, so I tried to go around, and you know how how I can usually make it back, David, when they're, because the but driving slightly on the dirt. I hit a rock that moved up, that flipped up, because of how soft the ground was, and the ground was slightly collapsing anyway. So guess where where I ended up? In the ditch off to that side. And there's water running in it. And so I ended up soaked up to halfway up my leg, just in the, or, you know, maybe not halfway up my leg, but soaked, and then it slipped down in it too, with one leg. So one leg was soaked up to the knee or higher, and the other is at least the bottom parts of the legs are soaked. Got a hold of Dad. He came, he couldn't figure out where to hook up. By Dad, I mean Dad Jensen. Called up Tom's service. Thank goodness for towing package, which I'm going to throw out to both of you. Towing services are usually about $2 a month. That adds up to less than $25 a year. Yeah, if the company offers it. But adds up to less than $25 a year, and a tow is usually around $200. So if you get a tow,
I'm never gonna get towed, really, for my own car. It's never gonna get that bad. And if I end up in a ditch or something, okay, well, I'm gonna grab another vehicle and pull it out myself.
Well, I'm just saying that there's been more than about once every 5 years something happens where, because part of it also, if you're in a wreck, that they deem that it's a no-fault wreck, that the vehicle has to be towed.
I guess that's one time, but I don't plan on getting a wreck.
Yeah, but if you want to go that way, why have insurance? No one plans on getting in a wreck.
I have insurance because it's required.
Anyway, so I told Dad, you know what, I have towing insurance. I'll just call it. So we got Tom there. He was joking because Tom's service is in Wellsville, so he grew up with Dad.
This window's turning the fog up.
So not grew up with Dad, but he knows me. It actually was Tom that came, so he knows me, he knows Dad, and obviously he knows Ed too, from the way he was acting, and Dad was acting. So, he is closed. So the only roads to get 5th West from 2nd to 1st you can use to get to. Or, so I actually, Steven and Mindy were coming back on 2nd when I was headed up Center to go get her. So it's been an interesting day. You know what, David? Why don't you... Because it's in the, what? It's in the 50s and it was down in the 20s, and so you thought it was way too high, or?
I thought it was in the, like, I just didn't think it was that high.
Yes, I will say I do get high, or they are high pressure, if that makes sense. But where you said all of them are low, I wonder if that's also part of the problem I had. Oh boy. Sorry, Danny. Because we got two of our tallest people one seat in front of the other in a tiny car. And if we had two of the same size people without EDS, we wouldn't fit.
All of the tires were really theoretically low.
Mm-hmm.
The highest one was this one with 33.5
He
psi.
filled that one a few days ago.
Well, yeah, with 33.5 psi. Well,
And he
for this
wasn't-
car, the max is 51.
Yeah.
So the
He
best.
wasn't sure how where where to put it at. So he just.
So the best is probably about like 45 psi for every tire. Yeah, having every tire at about 45 psi. That one back there was 24, I think, 24 or 26, and then the other back one was 26 or 28, depending on what. Like that one was 2 lower than this one, and then this one, or actually no, the highest one was that one. That one was like 41.5.
Yeah, I think you've
33.5.
got both of these.
And then the back 2 were, yeah, real low. That back one on this side will probably need a new valve core. The valve core bent. I almost couldn't even.
Okay, you seem to be really desperate. I'll come in and help, but I get one of your shop bays for this long. Like basically say this is what I'm doing, and I need one of your shop bays, and I need you to help me set it up. Otherwise, if you aren't willing to help me, I'm not gonna help you.
I don't know.
That may sound bad, but he needs to realize that you guys shouldn't be having to give everything to him for not much in return.
Pretty much the Indeed application thing.
So, okay. I am back home. We are going to talk about things for a minute. Okay, you can hear me just fine. Great. Why can't we see anything? I don't know what's going on. We're gonna switch for a minute. That did not work. So hopefully you guys can see things. We're going to start Stream Raiders. Well, I also do a few things here, and we're turning